Hi, it's Sandy Wiley. Sad to say, but this is the last video of the personality disorders. I looked and I've covered them all except for today's video, which is schizotypical personality. Now, I know I already did a video before on schizoid personality disorder, but this is schizotypical personality disorder. They are two distinct personality disorders. They might share similarities. Let's go into it and learn. And learn. Because I learn with you. I'm learning. I'm loving doing this because I'm learning along with you. What is schizotypical personality disorder? Not schizoid. You know, not the one I did on schizoid personality disorder. Schizotypical. Schizotypical personality disorder is one of the group of conditions informally called eccentric personality disorders. People who have these disorders often seem odd or peculiar to others. What? I'm the epitome of oddball, okay? In fact, most of my poems that are published are in Oddball magazine. I have poems published in other magazines too, especially Ibberton Street magazine. But yeah, they love me on Oddball. Go look at my LinkedIn. I have published poems there. Oddball magazine. They said you have to be really unique and weird and to get published here. And that's me. All right. They also may show unusual thinking patterns and behaviors. So you think I'm falling into this category? I'm going to read on and see, because I never knew about schizotypical personality. I've heard about schizoids. I heard about them, but I didn't know much about them. But I never heard about schizotypical, and, you know, I don't know anything about it, so I'm learning with you. All right. Let's see. Schizotypical personality disorder. Odd behavior. Speech patterns, thoughts, and perceptions. Other people often describe them as strange. People who have this disorder may also dress, speak, or act in odd or unusual ways. Well, a lot of people dress, speak, and act in unusual ways. Look at, like, some famous people, right? Boy George, right? Doesn't he dress in odd or unusual ways? Pink. I mean, Madonna. I mean, there's lots and lots of people out there. I mean, some people probably think that I dress in odd or unusual ways because they'll say, you know what I mean, like, what's this chick, what's up with that? I've had strangers on the street say to me, you know, what are you doing with that hair, you know? Like, the 80s are gone, girl. I've had people say that to me. Can you believe that? Like, I would never, ever judge someone. If someone shaved their whole head and walked around bald, like this, that's their style. You know what I mean? If they want to do that, or if they shave half the head and the other half, or if they go like pink on one side and purple on the other, it's like, hey, that's their style. Why am I going to condemn it? But people have said to my face, like, what's up with that? You know, or all the crazy outfits I wear too. They're not crazy. They're just outdated, you know. But I don't care. I wear what I like. Oh, like the eyeshadow, like, huh? Like, why have all that eye makeup on? Because I like it, you know. Do you say to someone, why do you have all those tattoos? Or why do you have all those piercings in your nose, on your lip, on your eyelid? Do you go up and say that? Why do you have all those piercings? Or why do you have so many tattoos? It's like, guess what? This is moi. This is me. You do you, and I'll do me. But people will think that's weird. Be suspicious and paranoid. That's another symptom of schizotypical. Be uncomfortable or anxious in social situations due to the distrust of others. I just think I'm shy and, you know, I have anxiety disorders. That's why I'm uncomfortable. But my son, my special needs son, who has traumatic brain injury, he's having a Christmas party at his residence December 20th. So that's, I think, the first social gathering I'm going to be going to since COVID. I think so. Yeah. So, of course, I'll have some anxiety. Have few friends. No friends. 0 friends. Be very uncomfortable with intimacy. I don't think so. I don't think I'm uncomfortable. You know, I wasn't uncomfortable with Jim when I had a 2-year affair with him. Not at all. I mean, I'll have sex outside. So I'd say no. Tend to misinterpret reality or have distorted perceptions. For example, mistaking noises for voices. Never. Never. That's not me at all. That sounds like schizophrenia, doesn't it to you? Tend to misinterpret reality or have distorted perceptions. For example, mistaking noises for voices. This sounds a lot. Schizotypal personality disorder sounds a lot like schizophrenia just by reading the characteristics of it right now. I'm just telling you, because I live with a schizophrenic father, so I know a great deal about schizophrenia. Let's see. Have odd beliefs or magical thinking. For example, being overly superstitious or thinking of themselves as psychic. Well, I'll tell you something. I know a lot of people on Facebook who think they're psychic. I don't believe in it, okay? If they can call themselves whatever they want to call themselves, I'll never spend 1 cent for them to read my fortune or to, like, I know psychics just don't read fortunes. You know, they do other things, but I'm not into it. Just if you're into it and that's your game, good for you. I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying it's not my bag, okay? It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the people who think of themselves as psychic, and they might be. You know, I'm just saying I'm not really into it. I'm not a deep believer of it, you know. Be preoccupied with fantasy and daydreaming. I used to do that, but not anymore. I think I'm really got my feet on the ground now at almost 60. I don't daydream. I don't fantasize. I'm really reality-based. Let's see. Tend to be stiff and awkward when relating to others. Nah, that's not me. Can you see me being... I mean, I might have anxiety and be shy, but stiff and awkward, I wouldn't say so. No. Come across as emotionally distant, aloof, or cold. I don't think so. I think, yeah, I'm pretty friendly and warm. Yeah, I don't come across as cold. I don't think so. Have limited emotional responses or seem flat. That flat, that's what we talked about in the schizoid personality disorder. Like, you know, not having any emotions, kind of being flat. All right, schizotypal personality versus schizophrenia. People with schizotypal personality disorder may have odd belief or superstitions. They have trouble forming close relationships and tend to distort reality. In this way, schizotypal personality disorder can seem like a mild form of schizophrenia, a serious brain disorder that distorts the way a person thinks, acts, expresses their emotions, perceives reality, and relates to others. So they're saying that schizotypal is kind of like a mild form of schizophrenia. Isn't it horrible that, you know, what they're saying, you know, schizophrenia is a serious brain disorder, okay? I grew up with my father having a serious brain disorder. Then my first son has traumatic brain injury from an illness, right? And he has severe brain disorder. I mean, he's the level of a 2-year-old at 28. So it's like I never could escape it. I could never in my whole life have a normal life. Isn't that sad? From growing up as a little baby with a schizophrenic father to when I had my own baby, my first child, having traumatic brain injury. You know, severe brain injury. You know, that he's like an invalid. So I never could escape, you know. I never could escape it, you know. It's kind of sad that I never could, like, I could never have what a normal life. All right, people who have schizophrenia are disconnected from reality, as I know, you know. They have delusions and see or hear things that aren't there, hallucinations. But people who have schizotypical personality disorder don't. Okay, so they don't have delusions, they don't see or hear things that aren't there. In rare cases, people with schizotypical personality disorder may go on to develop schizophrenia. So if you have this disorder, you may go on, you know, it may get worse and develop into schizophrenia. Ooh, I wouldn't like that, huh? All right. Your genes may play a role in schizotypical personality disorder. It's more common in relatives of people with schizophrenia. My dad had schizophrenia. I don't have schizotypical disorder, though. And usually starts in early adulthood. A person's temperament, reactions to life events, relationships, and coping strategies probably all have something to do with how their personality develops during childhood and adolescence. Okay. They say in order to get diagnosed, you need a physical exam. There are no lab tests to diagnose a personality disorder, but your doctor may use other tests to rule out physical illnesses. And it's also recommended you see a psychiatrist, you know, or a psychologist, of course. You know what I think about that. People with schizotypical personality disorder rarely get treatment for the disorder itself. When they do go to the doctor, and I've read this over and over again, that people don't go to the doctor saying, I'm this and this. They usually go because they're feeling depressed, or they have anxiety disorder. They have some other condition that are bringing them there. And then when they're there, they find out that they have a personality disorder. With me, that was the exact opposite. I told the Harvard psychologist my disorder. I walked in, okay, and no other doctor had told me this, okay? No one. And I told him I'm a borderline. And I told the Yale doctor this. I walked in and I said, well, the Harvard doctor eventually agreed I was borderline. But I told him first. He didn't no one diagnosed me first. I figured that out on my own. Then I told the Yale doctor, Dr. Fortgang, that I was borderline, and he didn't believe me. He says no borderline walks into therapy and says that they're borderline. Just like no narcissistic will say to you, I'm narcissistic. They never admit it, right? But eventually he found out. If you get to know me if I get emotionally close to you, which is very, very rare, so it probably will never happen. It's only happened with a couple of people. You'll know, believe me, you will know that I'm a borderline. Okay. There also is medication for this. Like, they list all the medications. My dad was on the little blue pill. No, it wasn't Viagra, okay? But yes, it was a tiny little blue pill. I mean, it was so tiny. My God, I don't even know how to, like, if you take a Tic Tac and cut that in half, you know Tic Tacs, the little mints? If you cut one of those in half, it probably was smaller than that. Or maybe the size of that. That's how tiny, and it was blue. Yeah. And my dad, he hated the medication. That's why he went off of it. Because he said it was like a heavy, thick cloud or blanket over him. Like, it dulled all his senses way down. Really dulled things down. So I guess that's how it dulls the voices and the delusions down. But it dulls everything else down, too. So he could never really feel anything, and he was tired all the time. And it was like he was just like living in a fog, you know, living in a fog. And who wants to live in a fog, you know? So it's either like you know, living with all the voices on stereo sound, or living in total silence and like living with the lights flash bright in your face, or living in a dark, dark closet. See, the medication made everything, dulled everything down, made everything dark, and made everything, hushed everything. Either extreme is no good, you know, and yes, it's difficult. All right, so I think we covered it. We covered all the disorders! Yay! I hope you enjoyed them. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but if you have any ideas of what I could do next, let me know in the comments. But I don't think that I have this schizotypal personality disorder. I might be a little eccentric, definitely eccentric. I might dress funky, but yeah, this isn't me. I'll stick with my borderline self. All right, that's the end of Personality Disorders series. I don't know what we're going to do next. If you have any ideas or you'd like me to cover something, say it in the comments. Okay, till next time. Take care.